Well, I'm excited for today because this is going to be a bit of an introduction to our community. So we have Settle with us, which is a whoop whoop. And for those of you who are not familiar, you will be by the end of this episode. We have two great guests with us, and I'm going to go ahead and share screen. So you should see my screen. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, success then. All right, we're going to be doing a deep dive into Settle. And many of you who joined us for our episode where we had Matt from Digits join us, he did such a nice job of talking about the variety of different apps that he uses, internal, external, and Settle was one of those apps, and he was doing exactly this. He was using it for bill pay. He was using it for also a financing option for his clients, and then doing some purchase, PO type matching. So we're going to get to see that in action today. I love the episodes where we do the spotlight, how firms are using it, and then we do these deep dives. So we are going to have a deep dive into Settle today.
Very excited. I cannot wait. So very excited. And Pete, you and I go way back. We go way back. Like I met you, I want to say it's been 10 years now, at
Yes.
least. And so wonderful to finally have you and Appy ever. Welcome. And so nice to meet you, Alec. Can't wait for the deep dive. Let's get started.
Well, and we've already got our first question. So Tiffany says, hey, is Settle available in Canada? Canada's got some different banking rules. And so that's always a question whenever we're talking about financing. Has it reached Canada?
It's kind of available, kind of not. So we don't support EFTs in Canada as of yet. So if you want to do everything through Swift wires, it could work, but I wouldn't recommend it. We will be in Canada soon enough, with all the bells and whistles. So I'll probably just wait until then.
Cool. Well, that was a quick and easy answer. So Heather, would you like to introduce yourself?
Of course. Hey, everybody. I know most of you that have joined us today. So hello again. For those of you that I may just be meeting for the first time, I'm Heather Satterley. I am a CPA and technology guru, and I absolutely love helping people save time through process optimization and workflow automation. So yeah, so that's me. And I've been doing this quite a long time now.
Which is why we're friends, because it's so fun to geek out with somebody who enjoys your world. It's like that whole conference experience that, oh my gosh, somebody gets me. And you get to go and have fun and play. And so, Heather, it's always been fun to have you as a friend to do show and tell with.
Absolutely. Now it's your turn. It's your
So
turn.
my name is Liz Scott, and I am located in Oklahoma. I do a couple of different things. I've got a firm and I work with small business clients. And then the other thing that really spends most of my daytime is working with apps to make sure that they are being showcased in a way that our accounting community understands and can adopt. So it's a very, very fun space because I get to actually serve my accounting community and bring best of class. And then Alec, you've got your slide up here. So I'd love for you to introduce yourself because you are the founder and CEO of Settle.
Yeah. So I started the company a little bit over 4 years ago, really based off my frustrations of using another software. And we launched publicly in the first summer of COVID. And we just kind of grew very organically, very quickly. It took on a life of its own. So we just kind of been playing catch up since. And we're a team of 75 people right now. And yeah, we're, always building a lot of cool stuff to hopefully save people a lot of time and money.
That was one of the things that Matt, who joined us from Digits, had said, is that you being a public company got his attention, and the growth at which you're listening, because that shows that you're understanding the problems and building a solution to fit those needs. And then also, I'm thrilled that you're doing a lot to make sure that the accounting industry is educated about Settle. Because one of the things that we find in the accounting industry is our clients will go and find these different apps that we're unfamiliar with. So having some familiarity with helps us to understand when is Settle a good fit, when when our clients are asking for different options, in bill pay, and then also some financing options, knowing what's available. So glad that you're here.
Yep.
And Pete, the head of the accounting partnership at Settle, would you like to introduce and give a little bit of background on you?
Sure, yes. Welcome and hello, everyone. I am super excited to be here. So I am an accountant by, I think I took a accounting class in high school with Mrs. Lingenfelter and kind of fell in love with accounting, went into public accounting, became a CPA, and then started working with accountants in the tech space about 2001. Worked for a company called Thomson Reuters Creative Solutions way back in the day. And I moved to the town where they were located in Dexter, Michigan. It's just a wonderful little town. It's like Mayberry. My wife has a business here, and I'm the Boy Scout leader in town, and just love being here. And I've been dedicated to the accountant space since then. So I think at 20, almost 24, that's what, 2001. So 23 years. Yeah. And been working with different companies like CPA.com, where we help launch and build and watch firms grow into the client accounting services space. And then went to work for a company called Bill. And more recently, it was a company called Blue Vine in the banking space. And now I'm here at Settle. Super excited to kind of help build the partnership program here, and lots of great customers on our platform, and super excited about getting them connected with our accountants and vice versa. So that's me.
It sounds like your town is charming.
Yes, it is really cool. We have a Memorial Day parade. We march in the parade, and it's just neat little, everyone knows everyone, and it's kind of neat little place.
Oh, Jean's saying that she loves the Dexter Cedar Mill.
Yes, fantastic. The cider is good. It's one of the oldest cider mills in Michigan. It's really, really cool.
It is very cool.
So Pete, where are you on the mitten? My friend Stacy, she always used to say like that she lives somewhere like right here. And is the mitten backwards? I might be backwards because I'm not from Michigan.
Yeah, I guess it would be like this, if depending on your mirror view, but yeah, like right here.
Okay.
The Detroit's here, and I grew up here. I haven't lived more than a mile or an hour from where I was born, in this little triangle right here.
You'll get out one day, I promise.
Wendy said the west side is the best side.
Yeah, west side.
Accountant's gone wild.
Well, it is happy hour.
Right. That is great. Well, so Heather, do we want to do a thank you to our sponsors here?
Oh, absolutely. So we have amazing sponsors with us. And we did something new this year because we're focusing on tech stacks, right? So we're putting these tech stacks together as accounting firms, finding the best in class to serve our clients. And so we've organized them this year. So thank you to all of our sponsors. We just love working with them, and great products. So yay. And especially thank you to Settle for coming on and sharing your magic with us.
Absolutely. Well, and it was fun to kind of collaborate, like where exactly do we place Settle? Because you have a little bit of banking, so there's some financing that's happening there, and then also this bill pay. So it was nice to be able to plug you into a spot that works, but you are doing multiple things, which is, I can tell you, in the accounting space, we love seeing solutions that are reaching out and doing multiple things, because it allows us to have less apps than focus on what are those core competencies of those different solutions.
Yeah, and also I think for us, we really strive to be better together. So it's not like, hey, these are two isolated things. Like, does it make sense to have, POs and bill pay in the same spot? We think it does, and it could save people a lot of time and just know how where to find these stuff. So if anything that kind of makes sense to make the experience even better, then that's something we'll definitely take on.
That makes sense to me. Well, we have got a fun drink today. So I can't wait till we get to the point when we start showing our drink, because I'll just let you know they're green, which just happened to be perfect for St. Patrick's Day that's right around the corner, and then also our green settle color. But let's go ahead and kick it off. And so one of the things that I want to do here, Pete, is would you like me to pass over presenter role to you here?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
take it here.
All right. Well, I'm going to stop share and I'm going to sneak a drink of my green drink.
So pretty.
It is.
All right. I should be screen sharing.
You are.
All right, great. All right. Well, this is a fact that most people know, but is sad at the same time. It's 80% of small businesses tend to fail because of cash flow. It's the oxygen in the room, and when it runs out, that's it, right? And our mission is to kind of change that trajectory. We are trying to build a platform that's all things payments, from the moment you think about buying something that you need, from the purchase order all the way through the approval cycle and paying those invoices. And then depending on if you have the cash or not, we can assist in that regard by offering flexible financing with terms that are not predatory. You're not giving up, ownership in your company to do that. And then the other thing is we're trying to bring everything into one platform, so you're not using spreadsheets and in multiple places, where you can find everything sort of in one place. And so that's sort of what we're trying to do. And I'll let Alex speak to our mission and our vision.
Yeah, our vision is really to become both the finance and operations operating system for small businesses. So when you think about all the work that needs to be done by finance people and also operations, we really want to meld that together. So they're speaking on the same terms and really solve their pain points there, with the mission of really making buying inventory super easy. So a lot of the companies we work with are ordering inventory over and over and over. And we just want to simplify that so much, and find discrepancies there. So not only do they save money, but they don't have to spend a lot of time on it.
That is, I mean, that is huge, because inventory is, managing inventory or inventory companies is a beast, especially for your SMB businesses, right? It's something that, in fact, I'll say a lot of accounting friends that I know tend to kind of stay away from the inventory and that type of thing because it's complicated. So the fact that you're really addressing that market to make it simple is so needed and so welcome.
Yeah.
All right. So, like, as we sort of alluded to, we want to become an all-in-one solution for small businesses, and that really starts at the very moment where it's time to make a purchasing decision. And we are enable you to kind of create purchase orders within our system, sync your purchase orders from your accounting platform, or if you're using an inventory management system outside of Settle, then you can bring those purchase orders into the system. And we are from there, you have all the records. You can make sure that you can manage your catalog from there. The pricing that you negotiate is what's in those purchase orders, and then you send those out. And then when the goods come in, you have the ability to kind of receive and document what you've received and attach that document into the system. And then when it's time to pay, now you can see, all right, is it what I ordered? Is it what I negotiated? Did they send me everything that they asked, that they said they were going to send? and what they invoiced me for, and then see that in one place. And then you can set up the approvals at the bill level and then at the payment level. And then this is the moment where, like, if you don't have the funds because it's you got to make payroll, then we can pay those invoices on your behalf, and then you pay us later. And so we're trying to build this connected network between the SMBs through us to the vendors, and there's more to come around all of that. And we'll talk a lot about the needs of consumer packaged goods and e-commerce companies, but we really have clients across the gamut, professional service firms, tech-based SaaS companies. I was looking to list some of our partners: film studios, pet salons, insurance brokers, theater company. Like it doesn't matter. Anyone that has a bill to pay, and some help with their cash management workflow, it is an ideal business for us.
Well, and I love that you're sharing this, because this is one of the questions that we get asked quite a bit is, who would be a good fit for a solution? And I know you focus a lot in this inventory space, which there's a lot of people, like Heather said, are hands off. There's a lot of complexity, and so they don't want to get involved in that space, which you've done a really nice job of diving in, because there's a great need there. But not only is there this great need in the inventory space, but also you're a bill pay solution, and being able to have POs, and then also the financing. So really that works for any type of business model, and you've highlighted some here, but I think it's great to kind of think about, where do you position Settle?
And in part, some of our accountant friends are doing that because everything is everywhere, right? You've got purchase orders and spreadsheets. Where's the receiver? Like, do we want to get involved in that process? And so it just becomes a messy thing. And really, so that's part of it. It's like there's never really been a solution that's been affordable that can bring it all together for our partners to get excited about inventory. You might as well talk about the we mentioned bill pay, so we know there's some competition in the space in that regard. I certainly was a part of that for a long time. And so people ask me, it's like, all right, how do you compare to bill and other AP solution providers? And there's a gamut of them today. And so we have all of the same, kind of essential things there. You see that across the top. I think where we'll start to kind of separate ourselves from them is that we are very focused on, the speed of the payment, and providing solutions that are affordable in terms of making same day payments. We offer domestic wires and as well as international wires. Oftentimes small businesses don't have the trust of a business, and they're like, all right, yeah, I'll send you this, but you need to wire me the money today. Well, instead of going to the bank, and I've been there, I used to have a small little .com business a long time ago, and there was a point in time where I had to wire before they would send me any goods. So we can do that right within the platform. And our support is great. We're not charging extra for users or syncs or any of that thing, any of that kind of stuff. And, and as we mentioned before, like the biggest challenge is like as you grow, I mean, you might have a great idea, but you run out of cash, and cash is the problem, and or the opportunity in our case to help you. So we're doing that. We're building tools around the inventory management and making sure you're not wasting money. You'll see some of the functionality that we've released around three-way matching, and then other things that are coming. We'll speak more about the future there. So we're sort of distancing ourselves from that by being focused and offering additional functionality.
And I do want to stress on the customer support side, like we really pride ourselves at getting back to customers in less than 25 minutes. So if you're ever used to just sending an email into queue and hearing back the next day, that doesn't happen with us. So like the quicker we can resolve issues, then we know the happier customers will be.
That's phenomenal.
Mhm.
All right, let's talk about, I think, of the when and why everything kind of sort of went down. And
Yeah, so this is a problem that a lot of small businesses face that have to order inventory. Um, Generally, they have to pay upfront before they ever receive the goods, if that's a deposit or the full amount or some percentage. And generally, they have to pay a little bit more before those goods hit the ships, especially if you're ordering internationally. So there's this big cash flow gap that gets created from that. So like I need to use all my cash to buy this inventory, wait a bunch of time, get into my warehouse, QA it, prep it, and then I can start selling it. So this is a use case that a lot of our companies use us for, where we're actually gonna pay the vendor and supplier upfront with Settle's own money, and then the small business could pay us back once they start turning that into revenue, which will effectively allow them to scale much quicker and achieve those goals, and even bring on more profit, or even, reduce the cost of the goods because they're able to order higher quantities. So this is really like the secret sauce, which a lot of our companies find valuable. About 60% of our companies use this product today. So this is like what we're keenly focused on solving.
so so we talk about brands, we mean the business, the consumer package, it's all about their brand, and building that brand and trying to get exposure and so forth. But behind the scenes, they've got a lot they've got to do in terms of planning inventory, the purchasing workflows, bill payments, the financing, and then the cash flow insights. And so this is where, by bringing it all together, we can support them and kind of grow and help them scale in one place, one solution, bringing everyone together from the front office, the back office, the warehouse, everywhere. They're in connecting their vendors as well. And so what our hope is to do is, like, sort of, we know many folks use great tools like QuickBooks and Xero and such. Um, and they do that because it's affordable, and we've got this great network of accountants and bookkeepers that support them, right? What we're trying to do is help extend the runway of their lifetime on that platform uh, before they have to get into a large ERP. Now, we work with the larger ERP as well, but not everyone has $100,000 laying around for an implementation that could not work, right? And that could tank the company, if they don't get it right. And then on top of that, like we said before, we're providing the working capital to help them grow along the way. So I'll segue to that and talk a little bit about one of the types of working capital solutions that we offer, and Alex, talk about that.
Yeah, so we've embedded the working capital within the platform. So when you're going to pay an invoice, you'll see two options: one to use your own money, or one to use Settle's money. So if you settle money, you choose the date you want the vendor to be paid. And again, this could be ACH, wire, international wire, check, whatever it is. And then you choose the extension length. So how long do you have to repay it? So let's say you choose 90 days. In this example here on the left, we'll charge an extension fee every 30 days, generally around 1.5%, but that varies anywhere from 1 to 2%. And at the end of that 90 days, you'll repay us for the original amount. So effectively, we're floating you for that. But we built this with a lot of flexibility in mind. So let's say, hey, your business is kicking ass and you actually want to pay it back sooner to save on interest. At any point, you could go in and change the duration of it to, let's say, 60 days, 30 days. And the reverse is also true. Let's say, hey, these goods are taking a little bit longer to get in. I need 30 more days. Then you can just tack on additional 30 days, and we'll just tack on additional extension fee. So we're definitely committed to charging like a very transparent, clear for friendly APR, where there's no gotchas, you're not, paying more than you need to. And we really, stay true to that.
Yeah, it's a little bit. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to ask, is there a minimum? I know with some companies, there's a minimum amount that you're allowed to do the delay for the financing. Do you have a minimum amount per invoice to do that?
Per invoice is generally around $5,000. There are a few exceptions here and there. And generally when we're qualifying customers, we're generally putting a floor in of about $30,000. So those hopefully will answer those two questions, but there aren't any caps technically.
Yeah, and you technically get approved in advance for a certain amount, depending on the business's, strength and longevity and so forth. And then they make the decision at the time of the invoice, right? So it's when you need to pay the bill, when you're kind of struggling, right? When you do that, and you're not paying interest on the line in it, that's extended to you, with where the money's just sitting there idle. It's a little different approach.
Yeah, that's actually a great point that you bring up, because like most lenders, I think, hey, let me get $500,000. I'll just pull it into my bank account and then I'll use it as I wish. But the reality is you're paying interest on that balance, even though it's just sitting in your bank account. So what we think is better is we'll give you the availability, but only pay interest on the stuff, the money that actually goes out the door to the vendor. That way, effectively, you're paying a lower interest rate as well.
Yeah. My wife has a small business, and she's got a timing between when it's a dance studio. So when do you buy the costumes, and then when do you make sure they all fit all the dancers, and then you have the recital and so forth, and you pay it. And she borrowed from a company, and the effective interest rate on that was like 44% plus or whatever. I'm like, when I found out, I'm like, honey, I got the money sitting here. Well, just you could borrow from the Bank of Pete, but she went a different route. But I get it, and your clients are going to do these things because they're in a tough spot and they need to make a tough decision. And you're like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Right. But, it kept the business open and kept the lights on or whatever. But there's an opportunity here for our partners to be advisors and show them, the true cost of that money, because she didn't know at the time that it was going to be 44% interest. There's nothing kind of spelling that out.
Well, and I think that's a really good point, is that part of the education in the accounting space is to help us know what's available to our clients. To be that person who says proactively, if you're somebody who's looking for some financing options, here's an option that you may not have found yourself, or vice versa. What we see oftentimes is like what I was talking about before. Our clients will go out and they'll find a solution, and then they'll bring it to us. Well, we want to know, is that best in class? Was that something that they found, like in your scenario with your wife? And you're like, oh, that's a cautionary tale. I'd rather have options that I give to my clients and present to them, so that way when they have those types of crunches, they already have some ideas as to what would be the best solution for them. And then in this case, this is a repeat and rinse kind of solution. So as they need it, it's here and it's available. And as they're building up inventory, a lot of us work with e-commerce clients. That's just kind of the norm, whether you're working with a small business client, mid-size, whatever. They've got an online presence. And so they have to have these purchases that they're making. So this is part of the world now, is that we need to be able to purchase goods, and there has to be some dollars that are going to go out to purchase those goods before there's dollars coming back in.
Right.
And I love the simplicity of it, that you don't have to go to a third party for the financing, right? So it's right as part of your process, part of your AP process.
Right.
So that makes it, easier to make those decisions.
Yeah. And the other thing is that we'd love to never pay any interest, but this is a solution to help you get your inventory turns happening and spinning faster. And by offering something like this, we're seeing tremendous growth. Just like the buy now, pay later what it did for B2C, it's doing for the businesses itself too. And we're seeing, you know, significant growth with some of our customers. And this little anecdotal thing here, 385% growth across 188 customers is what gets us excited and up every morning. So, all right, I'm gonna unless there's anything else we want to talk on this side, but we'll talk a little bit about the future and then we'll get into the well, actually we'll talk about our drink and then we'll get into the product. But we have been waiting. My ice is melting here. We have so we've sort of, you know, this is where our focus has been, you know, kind of build this all-in-one solution that starts with the purchasing, then the bill payment, and then the financing. And then where you'll start to see us expand, you know, the pendulum of, you know, of where an app becomes a bit, you know, broader is in the area of inventory planning. And so connecting to more inventory systems or helping to make the repeat order process happening more frequently or easily. And then it's, you know, we've been talking about cash. It's like the ability to kind of project cash and see when it might be necessary to consider a borrowing in like a tight cycle. And so we're looking to provide some additional insights in forecasting into that as well too, because we know the major costs and you know, technology is allowing us to connect to more and more sources of information. So that's kind of where we're heading.
I appreciate you sharing this roadmap, and we've got a audience question. And the question is can Settle work with project accounting? And the question is we have a life science biotech company that wants to use purchase orders. Several have government contracts where they use project accounting.
Yeah. So, you know, if they're using QuickBooks, for example, and you're managing that through your classes today, you can categorize a bill that way. Today, but we are going to add the ability to do that on the purchase order, and because you want to see what's open and so forth. So we are expanding that across the platform as well too. So we're using your classes and so forth today. We are going to add a few more dimensions in that regard, so you'll have all the dimensions. And then also within the project, in today's product, we have labels, so you can kind of label things throughout and create your own custom labels as well too, and do that as well too. So potentially might be able to assist there.
Yeah, and with projects and QuickBooks Online, you know, that works with the customers. So being able to tag a customer.
Right, or projects.
Yeah. We are committed to do that. It's not quite there today. So to answer that specific, if you're going to use that dimension, not there, but working with the team to add that, and we're committing to our roadmap for the next quarter on that particular item will be in there.
Got it.
Okay. All right. Is it time for the drink?
Yes.
All right. Let's talk about it.
Yes.
All right.
I love this drink.
I do too. Japanese whiskey, yes.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to follow, ride my wife's coattails. She was asked to go to Japan and judge a couple of dance competitions and teach some clinics there. And so I went to Japan, and I've been drinking highballs while I was there and since I've been back. And our color is green, so our company color. So I had to mix the two, and so we've come up with the Settle Highball. And this is it right here. And
I love it.
And it's got a Japanese whiskey. This is the one I chose, this one here, this Nika grain. And then we've got lemon juice and honey syrup, which is fantastic, and matcha. And then you pour the club soda over the top. Yep. And it is really, really good.
You mix it?
I did. I made it. Yeah, you put it in your shaker. So you put everything in except for the club soda, and then you shake it up, and then you pour it out over ice, and then you put the club soda back into your shaker and you get the extra matcha, and then you pour that club soda on top, and then it's ready to go. Otherwise, it explodes if you try to shake the club soda. It's not pretty.
You end up wearing it.
Yeah.
And the
It's
matcha
just-
is what gives it that really pretty color.
Does.
Yes, it's
I
really
love
good.
the taste.
All right, try it. Let me know what you think. All right, let's want to get into the product. I think I'm gonna let Alec take over here.
Yeah, I can share my screen for that.
Well, you know, this is our favorite part. We love seeing product demos. So
Definitely.
thank you for being brave to do that live.
Can't promise everything is gonna work, but it should. It should work. Cool. So this is the platform. It's all web-based, mobile web as well. So since we're doing purchasing, bill pay, and financing, I think we could start kind of like earliest in the process, which is purchasing. So we have a purchase order suite here. So we could create a new one. So let me just do that live. Okay, let me just pick out some vendor here that I want. Let me do some SKUs. So we're connecting into your catalog. That's in QuickBooks. So we could pull stuff out of there. So let me just pick a couple items here. Let's say, so we're already pulling in like price automatically from there. I could update the quantity. I could add another item. Thank you. Settle. Let's do another type of item. Let's say also let's do 2000. So you can see here is kind of updating it real time. So you can kind of see what it looks like. Let me add some tax here that I've agreed to. And now I could, add some payment terms if I want to, if I have it saved to the vendor. I could type anything in a memo, add my logo if I wanted to, and then do such thing as like add a delivery location where it should be delivered to and by when, and any additional contact details. So that's my phone number. You can call me anytime. So let me effectively finish this and preview it. So I'll just open it. So now the purchase order is now in the status of open. And now I could directly send it out to a vendor, or I could download it as a PDF if I want to email it myself later, anything like that. I can always go in and edit it if there needs to be any changes. Okay, so that's nice. So let's go to the bills for a second. And the way we handle bills is really we'll generate an email address for businesses where they could CC or forward invoices to, and that'll automatically ingest it within Settle, or you could upload it manually or import it from your ERP like QuickBooks, Xero, NetSuite. So let me pull in a sample one here. Let's see how it works. So it's currently ingesting it, reading it, and now hopefully it'll OCR the heck out of it. Perfect. Okay. So what we have here is the invoice. We see that it picked out the vendor correctly. Let's say it picked out the invoice number correctly, invoice dates, due dates, the amounts, any bank accounts that are either saved on the vendor or found from the invoice. And it's what the cool thing is it automatically linked that purchase order. So let's just see. Yeah. So let's actually. Yeah. Cool. And now we have the ability to see the linked documents. And now I could compare the invoice and the purchase order. So we could pull those side by side.
I love this.
Yeah.
Love this.
I'm gonna hide this one actually because I don't have one. Okay, cool. So now I can see the invoice here on the left side. I can see the purchase order here on the right side and see if everything's matching. Quantities, pricing, SKUs, even taxes. And that helps me, make sure I'm actually paying the right amount and I'm not getting screwed over here. So even here we see, we're able to match some amounts. So we kind of need to probably edit the line items on the invoice, just so we could do the line item level matching as well. So let me exit out of this for a second. So clearly here, I could try to itemize these bills. So let's try to click this button and see if it works.
Gross.
There it goes. And it just itemizes directly from the invoice on the line items. And now I could add a service too. Let's say tax. Or maybe this will be tax. And do the amount of 3957.60. Cool. And now hopefully I'll have the right amounts between the two, which I should be. Could always go back to comparison. And I see that there's no tax here, but I do see the 65,960 here. So I could always add a line item here as well for the tax. Whoops. Okay, well, imagine I didn't click delete. That would have been fine. Okay, but back to the invoice. So, okay, let's say now it's all matched. Now I could proceed to actually paying the invoice. Oh, I actually deleted this, sorry. Let's say what I want to call this inventory. So now, as I mentioned, we'll see two options here. So first, I could either pay from my bank account. So this is just a standard, very similar to Bill.com and other platforms. I could choose the date I want the vendor to be paid. And, I could choose ACH wires or even a faster ACH. If there aren't any bank accounts on file, we'll send out a check to the address. And then if it's an international vendor, we'll use Swift wires for that. But as I mentioned, if the company qualifies, we do offer the ability to finance the payment. So here we can select the same items, what method do I want to pay them? What date do I want the vendor to be paid? But more importantly now, how long do I want to borrow for? So let's say I choose 90 days. We'll pay the vendor on the date that we chose. And then every 30 days, we'll charge an extension fee. And then end of that, we'll debit them for the original amount. But again, hey, let's say business is kicking ass. I actually want to pay back sooner. Fantastic. We'll just chop off those additional extension fees. So you're not committed to it. And the reverse is also true. I could always tack on additional days later and just pay a little bit extra interest for that.
So you would just edit the bill, the payment details if you want, like later, like a week later, I'm like, oh, I want to pay it now. You'd go back and edit it and it would remove those additional fees.
Yeah, that's right. The vendor's already been paid, so that's locked in, but now I could choose when I pay back.
Love that. So a lot of those funding companies, they don't allow you to do that. You're stuck with that.
I know.
There's
Yeah,
like a
that's-
prepayment penalty, right?
Exactly. Or, these merchant cash advances where you think it's like a fixed fee product, but then APR just goes through the roof. But for us, like we're committed to being very friendly. We abide by every state usury rate. So we're not doing anything expensive here. Like the max APR we could ever charge is 25%. And even for some states that might be lower. So
Yeah, and I'll add that, we are talking about inventory and so forth, but there are service businesses that have purchase orders, so you could certainly use purchase orders for non-inventory companies. So we have that here as well too. I mentioned Mrs. Lingerfelter's accounting class. Like we used purchase orders. I had the little packets where you wrote out the little invoices by hand, and then you did the little T-squares. We've all been taught like you should use purchase orders and you should have approvals and have segregation of duties, right? All those things are here, with the purchase orders. Approvals, you could set up bill approvals and payment approvals. So he's going through right now. So we can set up a bill approval. And what's cool is when you look at the conditions right there, we can pick and set a condition based on one of your dimensions. So it could be a department or a location or a vendor, all the invoices related to this vendor has to go through Sally, or Johnny has to look at all the ones for his office in Dexter, Michigan, right? So whatever, wherever it's going and whatever, you can set those things and stack those things on top of each other. And then we have this like multiple layers of people and team members. You can do any, if you've got a pool, like that first look, anyone from this department, first one to get to it. Or if it's over, then after that, I need the CFO or the big kahuna, whoever she is, to click on it and do that as well too. So you have that at the bill level and the payment level. And what's great about the payment level, it's like, we've all seen those checks. I've been on boards where they try to get you to put on the check. If it's more than $5,000, you need 2 signatures. Well, the banks are clearing checks with no signatures. They're not looking to see if there's 2 or 5,000, but here you can create processes around that and have that right in the solution. And and you can feel comfortable as an accountant being a part of the back office when you have these controls in place. And we can create custom roles. We have different roles in our system as well too. And you can do that. You can have viewer roles, clerks, different folks as well. You can create your own custom roles as well too if you wanted to, by doing that and selecting the permissions you wanted. So if you wanted to have someone that had like unique, permissions, you can create a role as well and do that. You add team members and assign those individuals to those custom roles and invite them and turn them off. And we're really, yeah.
I mean, these permissions are just essential if you're doing any kind of accounts payable services for your clients. So, in our firm, you had to have that approval from the client. Because we didn't want to issue the payments. We could set up the payments, but the client had to be the one to push the button to actually pay it. So having these different approvals, especially in CAS firms, right, where you have multiple levels of team members, where you're having somebody do maybe the categorization and the matching, you're having somebody else that's doing a review process within your firm, and then it goes to the client to actually be approved to pay. I love this because it allows you to have that granularity based on the workflow that you have within your firm.
Yeah.
Well done.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah, and we can manage the accounting sync here in the settings. So anyway, you want to change it. We have a nice sync status area as well, so you can see which bills are waiting for sync, which ones have been recently synced, are there any errors there that's preventing it from syncing, and then just take it on from there. And hopefully these are very easy to read and easy to understand. We have a lot of reporting, and this is always adding new stuff all the time. So if you want to look at all bills within certain dates, any types of cash outflows, 1099s, AP aging detail, any of that kind of stuff you could pull directly out of Settle as well. In addition, we have a dashboard where we're trying to show future cash outflows. So these are either bills that have been scheduled here in the future, or potentially repayments on the loans. We also have like a little easy to read AP aging report here, just for simple tracking. And then also for customers that are qualified for financing, they'll see how much they're qualified for, and how much they've used up if they are using it. And then what else can we talk about?
One of the things I see up at the top is it looks like there's a toggle to maybe go between different clients. So as an accounting room, yeah, right there.
Yeah, so Pete, you might have the accounting from console.
Yeah, I have so if as a business owner, you might have multiple businesses that you're using. So he'd be able to switch there. And then I have a screen showing and how you can manage your firm and your clients back in the deck.
Okay. Yeah, accounting firms have a little bit better software to use, so a little bit more God mode, all view type of software.
As far as the 1099s, do you track just the vendor information or do you actually create the forms and e-file the 1099s?
Yeah, we're gathering feedback right now. We're processing the payments and collecting, the information on the vendors and pushing that to the accounting software. But we are spending a lot of time with our product and listening to firms to hear what we can do. What we are doing it from a collection standpoint, we do have the ability to when you connect with the vendors or contact the vendors, they can upload their 1099 information here. If you scroll
Right.
over, Alec, to the right and show them which vendors have the W-9 information uploaded already. And so and then we're getting feedback like, hey, we want we want emails to be sent in, or we don't want payments to go out at the business level unless we have the W-9 information. Or, we're looking to build some alerts to say, hey, you're getting close to needing, because you spent $600 with this vendor and you haven't gotten a W-9 yet from them, then we're going to create some alerts around that as well too. But in the meantime, we have a facility or way to capture that information and store it right at the vendor level.
That's right.
So we're coming up towards the end of the hour and we do have an audience question. And so Veronica's asking, how is Settle funded? When she's thinking about using this for her clients and talking with her clients.
So two types of funding. So one, we raised a shit ton of equity. So these are from venture capitalist firms. But for the financing side, we actually borrow from banks. So we have what are called warehouse facilities. So one is from Citi, and then one is also from SVB, and we're soon to be adding a third here pretty soon. So that is really providing the debt to all these businesses. And that's effectively also somewhat like our business model where we're borrowing from banks and offering that to other brands that, most likely just wouldn't be able to get working capital directly from the banks.
Yeah. And the thing is, it is on our balance sheet and we are managing those facilities. And that's sort of the difference. I was sort of recently in a different life impacted by not having it on balance sheet and kind of relying on investors. That's not the case here.
Yeah, great point.
So just real quick, I'll summarize what we saw. So we saw the ability to manage your catalog within the system and create POs right from the system. We can itemize at the line level, at the PO, the GRN, the goods received note, in packing slip, bill of lading, how many terms on that, and the bill. We have the ability to compare the documents across the board, see them in one place, store them in one place. So getting them out of filing cabinets and putting it here where the approvals need to see it, and then alerting you to the line level discrepancies, all things that are done in multiple places today. And then we've got this pay with from your bank account or our bank account. And so that's sort of like a summary of the product. I do want to speak to the partner program and what we've built. So we do have a way for you to manage all your staff and your clients in one place. And the beauty of this is like, once you add all your staff, if your staff ever get invited to, as a user on one of your clients, you're going to see that here. And then if that person should part ways and leave, well, at least you know who to go in and turn off, right? Because they've left, and sort of like a great control. We are passing on wholesale pricing to our accountant partners. So once they connect to you, then they're open, the wholesale pricing is available. So you want to encourage them to add you as a user. And we're doing that ourselves too, as we're encouraging our small businesses and brands that are coming to us and encouraging them to invite their accountant. And my team's being alerted to whenever that happens. So we reach out to the accountant and tell them about it. And then we're also giving a referral bonus. Some people like that, some people don't. I suggest you take it, put it towards your conference budget so you can go to the Appy Hour camp and take advantage of that, or buy a good bottle of whiskey to make this drink, and do that. But I know how people feel about it, but that's there for you to take or do whatever you want. This is the client portal. So you have this ability to kind of manage your clients in one place and see where they're at in terms of the setup, and if there are alerts around like, hey, this payment failed, and there's some new bills in the system to look at. You have one place to see all of that. And then this is the pricing I want to talk about, where we essentially give you two options. You can come in at a zero price point, no monthly commitment, and you're really just paying for the transactions. But because of the account program, we're giving you access to the advanced roles and the workflow rules, and then the line level scanning, that's included in that as well too. The ability to bring all your purchase orders in here and getting them out of Excel or Google Sheets or whatever, bringing it into one system. It's all right here. And then there is a plus plan that gives you, all of like the line level scanning and the three-way matching and all that stuff and the alerts and so forth. It's $49 a month. It's not a ton of money. Like paying one invoice wrong will probably cover that for 5 years. And you have that. No cost to join the partner program at all. No monthly fee there, and you can get started in using that. And in terms of how to get started, like just go to Settle, go to the accountants, solutions for accountants, create an account. You'll get a call from me and my team, and we'll set you up with the client portal, and you can add clients if you choose to, or use it yourself. You can get into it right away with no cost to the firm to try it out themselves before they, before it's so they can get comfortable around that.
Well,
And
and Pete, while you're talking about this, I'm gonna go ahead and launch the poll so that way anybody who would like to be contacted and wants to have more information has a chance.
that'd be great.
You can keep talking. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that they have an opportunity to connect with you directly as well.
Yeah, that's it. We're super excited to be here, and would love to get your thoughts. If you're not ready, today, like just tell us what would make it better, or what gets you excited about working with these types of clients, what their needs are. Our team is listening and taking down a ton of suggestions. But in the interim, we're working with thousands of businesses, and we're helping them grow. And if you got a client that's you got a need for, let connect the account. We'll underwrite them if they need cash and want us to take a look at that. Maybe we'll approve them, maybe we won't, but at least you'll know, and then you can work with them to get them into a better spot. But you have a partner here that can help you and your clients grow.
Awesome. I do have one question, Pete.
All right.
Does Settle allow you to pay, say somebody wants to pay a vendor via a traditional credit card, do they have that ability to pay via credit card in Settle?
Yeah, we not at this time. There is something about, around that, like that business is not very profitable, and there are many different solutions that are doing that. It's like a race to the bottom when you look at comparing to Amex and so forth. So not today. You can certainly, if you do use your credit card, like I'm a traveler. I think I've been in California more than I've been in Michigan so far this year. So I love my points. So you could use your card. That's what most people are doing, and then get your points and so forth. There could be a need for that. Maybe we'll do that at some point, but not at the moment.
But you have the ability to mark the bill as paid. So if it's in there and you're using the system, you can mark it as paid and then pay it.
Correct. Yep.
Perfect. Yeah. Awesome.
Yep.
Love it.
Well, thank you for joining us today. We are grateful. Pete, it was fun to be able to drink a drink together and hear about Settle. And Alec, it was great to have the product demo and to learn more. So thank you both for being here. And thanks to our audience for the questions and joining us. And there is lots more goodies that are out there. So if you would like to go and check out the YouTube channel, there are, I think, around 110 videos. So you can go and search up those videos. Today's will be listed on YouTube very soon, so within the next couple of days. And if you'd like to go back and watch Matt's episode, so from Digits, he was coming to us as a firm owner who utilizes Settle. He found them on their own. Part of what he did was he was looking for best in class to deliver tech to his clients. So that was his relationship with Settle. Very fascinating to listen to Matt and his point of view. So make sure to go and check out that episode as well. And then you can follow us in the Facebook Lounge, ask questions, talk to our sponsors, make sure to stay engaged. And then also we will be having our next episode where Heather and I are going to be talking about AI bots. I can't wait. There's lots of really cool AI bots that are out there. So be sure to join us later this month on March 26th.
Awesome. Well, this has been fantastic. I learned a ton. Thank you, Pete and Alec, for coming on Appy Hour. And we'll see you guys soon. Well, I know we're going to see you guys at Scaling New Heights, which is right around the corner.
Yeah, super excited about that for sure.
For sure. Well, thank you, everyone, and we will see you shortly.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye. Thank
Cheers.
you.